Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and in today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to save big with voice over IP with BYOP. BYOP as in bring your own phones. So in this video, I'm going to talk with you guys about how you can save quite a bit of money with pretty much any of the voice over IP service providers on your phone system if you BYOP, bring your own phones to the game. So in general, as you guys already know, especially if you've watched a lot of my other videos about the free phones and all that stuff, is typically to get the free phones or what we call the phone subsidization with the voice over IP providers, or what we call their free phone program or their phone subsidization program. With all of them, it's about the same, with some rare exceptions, which I'll tag in this video, a video that we did about the one and only provider that we know of that doesn't require like big long-term contracts and mid-tier level pricing to get the free phone. So again, I'll put that in the suggestions or something like that so you can see it. But for the purposes of this video, about 99.5% of all of the carriers require two things that we know of for you to get free phones. Number one, you need to be on at least a minimum 2-year contract agreement, meaning if you cancel the agreement, you pretty much owe the rest of the term. So if you say your monthly bill was at the time of the contract was say $300 a month, if you cancel the agreement 12 months into your 2-year term, you would end up owing the provider $300 per month for another 12 months. You'd be on the hook or for the ETF fees, or what we call early termination fees. So how do you get around that and get the lowest level pricing tier and get on a month-to-month? Bring your own phones. If you do that, at the time of this video, most of the carriers that we know of, in order to get on a month-to-month, you can be at the lowest pricing tier, which gets as low as we've seen, as low as about $17.99 a month to $19.99 a month. Most of the carriers, to get the free phones, they won't let you be on a tier that low. They require you to be on a tier that starts at typically $24.99 a month or higher to be able to qualify for free phones or phone subsidization on their program. So how do you get on the month-to-month with the $19.99? I'm going to talk to you guys about a church that we're working with that it should be a done deal. I've been talking back and forth with the IT people at this church, and for them, this is basically what ended up happening. When I talked to them about free phones, they wanted both options. They said, well, let's look at it with the Polycom VVX 250s, because they really, really like the Polycom VVX 250s, which at the time of this video, most of the carriers will offer the Polycom VVX 250 on a phone subsidization program, or as a free phone, as they call it. So the Polycom VVX 250 resells, I want to say, for about somewhere in the ballpark of, I think it's about $125 or $130 phone at the time of this video, but you can find it on various sources through Amazon and whatnot for, I've seen it as low as about like $80, like around $80 to $99. If you see anything too much lower than that, I wouldn't trust it. It's probably not new, and it may not have certain things like the charger to put the plug to plug it into the wall for electricity. But anyways, my point is, so this particular church, basically they were like, well, show me what a contract with XYZ service provider looks like with the phones included. When we looked at that, it was a 2-year agreement, and they were at a $24.99 a month pricing plan. When they said, well, send me what a month-to-month looks like if we were to buy these phones outright from Amazon or a trusted source, we sent that over, and instead of $24.99 per extension times 4, because these guys had 4 extensions, looking at a 2-year agreement to be able to qualify for the free phones, we sent them over an option that was $19.99 a month. So you're talking the difference between $20 a month, or well, let's back it up. You're talking the difference between $25 a month, rounded up, on a 2-year agreement versus $20 a month on a month-to-month where you're not locked in. So when they did the math and looked at the math that, okay, well, if we were to be obligated for 2 years, let's look at the math on what the phones would cost, costing at roughly about $100 a phone. When they did the math on if they were on a month-to-month, and if they just bought the phones outright or found them through a wholesale source like Amazon or whatever that may be, it actually turned out for these guys for them being a church and being a nonprofit where the bottom line is everything, their monthly cost is everything, these guys decided that it would be better to just take the hit, pay the, I think it came out to like $400 up front for all of their 4 phones and get the approximate, that comes out to, let's do the rough math. It comes out to the approximate saving $20 per month if they could get the lower bill without the contract lock-in. They chose to basically go with the let's buy our own phones, let's BYOP, bring their own phones, and basically save the money. So the short of it is this, in this video, the short of it is, if you look at the numbers, it's really hard to say. My advice is, if you're a small company and the monthly cost is really a big concern for you, like cash flow is basically key for your business, my advice is that if you're a really small company that, let's say, has only 2 phones or needs less than 10 phones, I would advise that you look at buying your phones outright. If you're somebody that needs a lot more phones, like let's say 20 phones or higher, it really is a numbers game at that point. You'd have to break out the old calculator, which I'm more than happy to help you do, and really look at the numbers and say, okay, it's going to come down to 2 factors. What phone is it that you're looking at getting? If it's a really high-end phone that you're looking at trying to get, like let's say the Yealink T46S, which is like a 16-line phone, which is a really popular one that most of the carriers give away at no cost, and included with a plan like we talked about where you're on a mid-level tier pricing and a 2-year contract. If you look at what a phone like that costs, which is somewhere around like $150 to $175, it may actually be better for you to be on a phone subsidized program than for you to buy those phones outright if you need like 20 of them or something like that. You might actually be paying more than if you went into an agreement and just let the provider cover the phones. So the short of it is, to conclude this video, if you're somebody that's watching this, and I would say you're under 10 phones, it may actually make sense for you to BYOP, for you to bring your own phones. If you're not sure what phones are compatible with the carrier you're looking at, call me. I represent them all. I won't charge you anything to go directly to that carrier and say, hey, what phones do you support that are normally your free phones or that you recommend if somebody's going to buy them outright, that are quality but low cost if somebody buys them outright so they can get the cheaper pricing tier. I'm more than happy to do that research for you and come back to you and say, hey, looking at your budget and looking at what you guys need, this one has some excellent phones that you can buy outright and won't take you to the bank, but you still get it at a good price and you can get a low pricing tier. So again, this concludes the video, how to save big on voice over IP by bringing your own phones. In short, if you bring your own phones, whether you already have existing phones from a previous phone system or you buy your phones from Amazon or something like that, I can definitely guarantee to get you the lowest possible pricing tier on a month-to-month from pretty much any of the service providers. Again, Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, your go-to guy for the best deals on business phone and internet service in the United States. I'll catch you guys again in the next video.